The biggest muscle building lie that's holding you back. Imagine spending hours in the gym every single week, pushing yourself through workout after workout, drinking protein shakes, buying expensive supplements, and doing everything the fitness influencers tell you to do. Yet, months later, you look in the mirror and ask yourself one frustrating question: why am I not getting bigger? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of people work incredibly hard in the gym, but their muscles barely change. They assume they have bad genetics. They think they're too old. Some even believe they've reached their natural limit. But what if I told you the biggest reason you're not building muscle has nothing to do with your genetics? And what if I told you that most people unknowingly make the exact same mistakes every single time they train? The scary part, many of these mistakes don't just stop muscle growth. They can actually increase your risk of injury, slow your recovery, drain your energy, and leave you feeling weaker over time. Today, we're uncovering the 6 biggest muscle-building mistakes that almost everyone makes. And trust me, mistake number 1 is probably something you're doing right now. In fact, research and experienced natural bodybuilders agree that this single mistake is responsible for more stalled progress than almost anything else. So before you spend another hour in the gym, watch this entire video, because fixing just one of these mistakes could completely change the results you see over the next few months. Let's begin. Mistake number 1, you're not training hard enough. This may sound surprising. Most people believe they train hard. They leave the gym sweating, they're exhausted, their muscles burn. Surely that's enough, right? Not necessarily. There's a huge difference between working hard and training effectively. Think about it this way. Imagine you're trying to boil water. You keep turning the stove on for just a few seconds at a time. The water gets warm, but it never reaches the temperature needed to boil. Your muscles work the same way. They need a strong enough stimulus before they decide they have to grow. If that stimulus never reaches the required level, your body simply has no reason to build more muscle. This is where many people fail. They perform their usual routine, 3 sets, 10 reps, then they stop. Not because their muscles have truly reached their limit, but because the exercise has become uncomfortable. And that's a huge difference. Discomfort is not failure. Your muscles begin adapting when they're challenged close to their actual limit, not when the exercise merely starts feeling difficult. Natural bodybuilding experts often describe this as training close to muscular failure. That doesn't mean using bad form. It doesn't mean risking injury. It means safely reaching the point where you could perform maybe one more quality repetition or none at all. That's where the body receives the strongest signal that says, we need stronger muscles. Unfortunately, most people quit long before reaching that point. Then they try to make up for it by adding more exercises, more sets, or spending 2 hours in the gym. But more time doesn't always mean better results. Sometimes, it simply means more fatigue without more growth. Instead of asking yourself, how many sets did I finish today? Ask yourself, did I actually challenge my muscles enough to force them to adapt? That one question can completely change how you train. But here's where many people make an even bigger mistake. They hear this advice: start training much harder, and suddenly wonder why they feel exhausted all the time. Their joints hurt, their strength starts dropping, their motivation disappears. Why? Because they focused on intensity, but completely ignored recovery. And that's where mistake number 2 begins. Mistake number 2, you're growing your muscles, but not letting them recover. Here's one of the biggest myths in fitness. People believe muscles grow while you're lifting weights. They don't. Your workout doesn't actually build muscle. It damages it. The real growth happens later. While you're sleeping, while you're resting, while your body is repairing the tiny muscle fibers you broke down during training. Think of your workout like planting a seed. Planting the seed is important, but if you never water it, never give it sunlight, never give it time to grow, nothing happens. Your muscles work exactly the same way. Every hard workout sends your body a message. We need to become stronger. But whether that message turns into bigger muscles depends almost entirely on recovery. And here's what most people never realize. Your muscles recover much faster than the rest of your body. After an intense workout, muscle tissue may recover in about 2 to 3 days. Sounds great, right? Not so fast. Your tendons, your ligaments, the connective tissue surrounding your muscles recover much more slowly. Your nervous system also needs time to recover after lifting heavy weights. Your hormones, including testosterone and cortisol, need time to return to balance. So while your muscles may feel ready, the rest of your body may still be exhausted. This is exactly why so many people eventually hit a plateau. Or worse, they get injured. One day it's just a little elbow pain, then shoulder pain, then knee pain. Before they know it, they're forced to stop training completely. And all because they confused more workouts with better results. Look at professional athletes. The best ones don't just train hard. They recover just as seriously because they understand something most beginners don't. Recovery isn't taking time away from progress. Recovery is progress. Every hour of quality sleep, every nutritious meal, every rest day is helping build the body you're working so hard for. So instead of asking, how often can I train? Ask, how well can I recover? That simple shift in mindset can completely transform your results. Mistake number 3, spending too much time in the gym. Here's another surprise. More time in the gym doesn't automatically mean more muscle. In fact, for many natural lifters, it often means the opposite. We've all seen those workout videos online. 2-hour training sessions, endless exercises, drop sets, supersets, machines, free weights, cable exercises. It looks impressive. But here's what those videos rarely tell you. Many professional bodybuilders have recovery advantages that the average person simply doesn't have. Natural lifters don't recover the same way, which means trying to copy professional routines can quickly lead to overtraining. Instead of growing, your body becomes overwhelmed. Your stress hormone, cortisol, begins to rise. Motivation drops. Energy disappears. Performance starts going backward instead of forward. That's why many experienced natural bodybuilders recommend keeping workouts focused and efficient. Around 30 to 45 minutes of quality training is often more productive than spending 2 hours doing unnecessary exercises. Remember, muscle growth doesn't come from doing everything, it comes from doing the right things consistently. Quality always beats quantity. A focused workout with maximum effort, followed by proper recovery, will almost always outperform marathon gym sessions filled with junk volume. Now here's something even more important. Even if your training is perfect, even if your recovery is excellent, one common nutrition mistake can silently destroy your muscle building progress. And it's something millions of people do every single day without realizing it. We'll uncover that in part 2. Hashtag part 2, the nutrition mistakes that secretly stop muscle growth. Before we move on, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen someone who practically lives in the gym, works out 6 days a week, drinks protein shakes every day, eats chicken and rice for every meal, yet somehow they still look exactly the same 6 months later? Meanwhile, someone else trains less often, spends less time in the gym, and somehow builds muscle faster. It almost seems unfair, but it isn't luck, and it isn't magic. The difference usually comes down to something happening outside the gym, because building muscle isn't just about lifting heavy weights, it's about creating the perfect environment for your body to grow. And unfortunately, many people unknowingly create the exact opposite environment. Let's talk about one of the biggest nutrition mistakes. Mistake number 4, believing more carbs always mean more muscle. For decades, bodybuilders have been told one thing: if you want bigger muscles, eat more carbs. There's actually a reason this advice became popular. Carbohydrates increase your body's insulin response. Insulin helps move nutrients into muscle cells and supports muscle growth. Carbohydrates also help refill glycogen, which is your muscle's stored form of energy. When glycogen levels increase, your muscles also store more water. That makes them look fuller, bigger, more pumped. And before bodybuilding competitions, many athletes intentionally increase carbohydrates to enhance that full appearance. But here's where people get confused. Looking bigger isn't always the same as building more muscle. Those are two completely different things. One is temporary, the other is long-term. And if you constantly overload your body with refined carbohydrates, bread, candy, soft drinks, pastries, sugary cereals, your body may begin producing more insulin than it really needs. Over time, your cells can become less responsive to insulin. This is called insulin resistance. When that happens, your body has a harder time managing blood sugar efficiently. Instead of sending nutrients where you want them, it becomes easier to store excess calories as body fat. That's why some people notice something frustrating. Their arms aren't getting much bigger, their chest isn't growing, but somehow their waistline keeps expanding. The problem isn't necessarily eating carbohydrates. The problem is eating too many of the wrong ones, too often. Instead of building your entire diet around processed carbohydrates, focus on foods that provide more nutrition along with energy. Think colorful vegetables, beans, whole fruits, especially berries. These foods provide carbohydrates, but they also contain vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidants that support overall health. Remember, your goal isn't simply to eat more. Your goal is to help your body recover and build muscle efficiently. Mistake number 5, eating all day long. Here's another myth that refuses to disappear. Many people believe they must eat every 2 or 3 hours, otherwise they'll lose muscle. So they snack constantly. Protein bars, energy drinks, cookies, granola bars, protein shakes, another snack, another shake, and by bedtime, their digestive system has barely had a chance to rest. But here's something many successful natural bodybuilders have discovered. Your body also benefits from spending part of the day not eating, giving your digestive system time to recover, giving your hormones time to reset. Many experts believe that maintaining a healthy overnight fasting period, such as simply avoiding late-night snacks after dinner, can support overall metabolic health and natural hormone balance. That doesn't mean starving yourself, and it certainly doesn't mean skipping the nutrients your body needs. It simply means avoiding the habit of constantly eating from morning until bedtime. Quality matters far more than eating every hour. And speaking of quality, let's talk about something even more important than meal timing. The quality of your food. Imagine trying to build a house. Would you rather build it using solid bricks or weak cardboard? Your muscles think the same way. If your diet is built around processed foods, hidden sugars, artificial ingredients, and low-quality protein, you're giving your body poor building materials. On the other hand, whole foods provide much more than protein. They provide vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and nutrients your muscles depend on for recovery. For example, magnesium plays an important role in normal muscle function. Zinc supports many essential processes in the body, including immune function and normal hormone production. Potassium helps support normal muscle and nerve function. These nutrients don't usually get the same attention as protein, but without them, your body can't perform at its best. Now here's something almost nobody talks about. Even if your workouts are perfect, even if your nutrition is excellent, there's one final mistake that silently destroys progress. It has nothing to do with your muscles, nothing to do with your diet, and nothing to do with your workout routine. Yet it may be the biggest muscle-building mistake of them all. We'll reveal that in Part 3, #Part 3, the final mistakes that separate average results from incredible muscle growth. Now we've reached the final part, and honestly, these last 2 mistakes may be the reason you've struggled to build muscle for years. Because here's the truth. You can train with perfect form, you can eat plenty of protein, you can even have the best workout program, but if you ignore these final principles, your progress will always be slower than it should be. Let's dive into the next mistake. Mistake number 6, training without understanding. Your own body, walk into any gym, and you'll notice something interesting. Almost everyone is following someone else's workout. One person is copying a professional bodybuilder. Another is following a random fitness influencer. Someone else downloaded a workout plan from the internet. The problem? Your body isn't their body. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your flexibility, your recovery, your genetics. They're completely unique, yet millions of people expect a generic workout to produce personalized results. Imagine wearing someone else's prescription glasses. Would they help you see better? Probably not. In fact, they might make your vision worse. The same thing happens when you blindly copy another person's workout. Instead of building your strongest physique, you spend years strengthening muscles that are already dominant while ignoring the muscles that actually need attention. That's why the most successful natural bodybuilders don't simply train harder, they train smarter. They study themselves. They identify weak muscle groups. They notice which exercises they respond to best. They pay attention to recovery. They constantly adjust instead of blindly repeating the same routine. For example, maybe your chest grows easily, but your shoulders never seem to improve. Maybe your legs respond quickly, but your back always lags behind, instead of giving every muscle exactly the same amount of work. Successful lifters learn to prioritize their weaknesses, because your weakest muscles often determine how impressive your overall physique looks. Progress doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what your body actually needs. Now let's talk about what may be the biggest muscle-building killer of all. Mistake number 7, living in a constant state of stress. This is the mistake almost nobody talks about, yet it affects nearly everyone. Modern life keeps us under constant pressure. Work deadlines, financial stress, lack of sleep, family responsibilities, phones constantly buzzing, social media, bad eating habits, late nights. Your body doesn't separate emotional stress from physical stress. To your brain, stress is stress. And when stress stays high, one hormone begins to dominate, cortisol. Now don't misunderstand, cortisol isn't the enemy. Your body needs cortisol. It helps you wake up in the morning. It helps you respond to emergencies. It even helps regulate many normal body functions. The problem begins when cortisol stays elevated day after day, week after week, month after month. High cortisol can make recovery more difficult. It may interfere with sleep quality. It can leave you feeling exhausted, even after taking a day off. Imagine trying to build a house while someone keeps removing bricks every night. That's what chronic stress feels like for your body. You're trying to build muscle, while stress is making recovery much harder. This is why recovery deserves just as much attention as your workouts. Recovery isn't being lazy. Recovery is where adaptation happens. Your workout is simply the signal. Recovery is where your body answers that signal. That's why quality sleep should become one of your highest priorities. Aim for consistent sleep every night. Your muscles, your nervous system, and your hormones all depend on it. Another powerful habit? Walking. It sounds almost too simple, but regular walking helps reduce stress, supports cardiovascular health, improves circulation, and complements strength training without placing heavy demands on recovery. Sometimes the best thing you can do for muscle growth isn't another workout. It's allowing your body to recover from the last one. Now let's finish with one final myth that confuses almost everyone. Stop obsessing over protein timing. You've probably heard people say, you have to drink your protein shake within 30 minutes after your workout. For years, people treated this like an unbreakable rule. But here's what many recent studies suggest. For most people who consume enough protein throughout the day, the exact minute you drink your protein shake is far less important than the total amount and quality of protein you consume over the course of the day. In other words, consistency beats perfect timing. Instead of stressing over the clock, focus on eating high-quality protein consistently. Whole foods like eggs, fish, chicken, lean meats, Greek yogurt, beans, and other nutritious protein sources provide much more than just protein. They also deliver vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients your body needs for recovery. Remember, muscles aren't built from protein alone. They also rely on magnesium for normal muscle function. Zinc supports many important processes involved in health. Potassium helps muscles and nerves function normally. Without these nutrients, your body can't perform at its best. That's why building muscle isn't about chasing one magic supplement. It's about creating the right environment inside your body. Let's quickly recap everything we've learned today. Mistake number 1, you're not training with enough intensity to challenge your muscles. Mistake number 2, you're ignoring recovery. Mistake number 3, you're spending too much time in the gym instead of focusing on quality. Mistake number 4, you're relying too heavily on processed carbohydrates instead of nutrient-rich foods. Mistake number 5, you're focusing more on eating constantly than on the overall quality of your nutrition. Mistake number 6, you're following someone else's program instead of understanding your own body. And mistake number 7, you're allowing chronic stress to silently destroy your progress. Here's what I want you to remember. Building muscle isn't about finding a secret workout. It isn't about buying another supplement, and it certainly isn't about spending every waking hour in the gym. Real muscle growth happens when smart training meets proper recovery, balanced nutrition, consistency, and patience. Do those things long enough, and your body will reward you, not overnight, not in a week, but over months and years. That's how lasting transformations are built. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more science-backed health and fitness content. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 mistakes surprised you the most? Or which one do you think has been holding you back? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy, keep getting stronger, and I'll see you in the next video.